You could just feel that, couldn't you? The pain, the hurt, strikes a chord. And then it helps that there's a musical chord to reinforce it, and reinforce it, and reinforce it, and reinforce it, and reinforce it. And it's an incredibly beautiful song. There's this incredible pathos, pain, and beauty all in it. And we all feel connected. Wow. You know, how do you sit through that and not remember something where you were so devastated? But I've noticed something in our culture. I've noticed something in the way we are. Musically, we love to sing the blues. Right? I mean, if you go to country western music, that's all it is. Right? Somebody done me wrong songs top the charts every week. It's so bad, you have no idea how bad my life is songs. But it's not just country music. I don't want to give country music a bad rap. Look at our own popular culture, what happens in our own musical lives. In fact, listen to this song. This is by a very, very worldly popular band.
All my troubles seem so far away. Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday.
This is my favorite.
I'm not half the man I used to be. There's a shadow hanging over me.
So we all know the power of affirmation. Everybody, there's a shadow hanging over me. Come on! Sing it to music. There's a shadow hanging over me. No? No? Okay, so that song could not be more not in the present moment if it tried, right? And yet it's one of the most popular songs of the world. Everybody knows it, everybody sings it. It so removes us from being present to the good that is in the present moment, right? So removes us from the infinite possibility because we're so longing for yesterday. But it doesn't just exist in the Beatles, right? There was another popular song in the 60s that I had to share with you as well.
Never know how much I love you. Never know how much I care.
Oh, sorry about that. I hit the wrong one. Sorry. Oh. Stop it yesterday. It won't let me out. Yesterday, everybody together. Suddenly, I'm not half the man I used to be. Oh, there's a shadow hanging over me. Be careful with my clicker. But that's what happens in our minds, right? That song acts like a worm in our mind and it's stuck forever. We sing it all day long. Now back to Peggy.
Never know how much I love you. Never know how much I care.
So this is a great affirmation for when you're in love. Right?
Around me, I get a fever that's so hard to bear. You give me fever.
What do you want? Fever? What do you want to feel like? Say it.
In the morning, I fever all through the night.
Okay, so everybody, what do we want? Fever! Everybody. So, it doesn't stop there. There's another song.
Bye bye love, bye bye happiness, hello loneliness. I think I'm gonna cry.
It's better.
Bye bye love, bye bye sweet caress, hello emptiness. I feel like I could die. Bye bye my love, goodbye.
I feel like I could die. Goodbye, my love, goodbye. Oh, thank you, Everly Brothers. And it's so catchy. It's the catchiest tune on the planet, right? Bye, bye, love. Yeah, bye-bye sanity. So, one of my favorites of this, and I mean, you gotta get this, I really do love the blues. One of my favorite singers of all time was Lena Horne. And her anthem is a tribute to Ain't It Bad singing. Weary all the time. Wow. So, thank you. As you can see and hear, it is cultural. We love to affirm the negative. We love to affirm the negative that's going on in our lives. But if you think it's just from the 50s and the 60s and from my generation and before that this happened, I did a little research into some current tunes, some popular tunes from more our generation. But even if we just go back to the 90s, say, there was an anthem of the 90s that was really, really popular with a whole generation of people. It became the calling card. And you might recognize this song. Singing You Ought to Know. And if you couldn't hear the lyrics because they're screaming so loud, it's like, I'm just here to remind you of the mess you left when you went away. Right? It's not fair. It's not fair that you would deny me the cross I bear that you gave to me. Like, talk about victimhood. It's an anthem of victimhood, right? You've messed me up. It's all your fault. And it doesn't stop with Alanis. We can always, of course, check out Miley.
I came in like a
Everybody, you wreck me! You wreck me! Again, the victim. That's one of the supposedly most empowered women on the planet. Right? I couldn't show you the real video because she's naked in it. David and I actually were going over. Sorry, David and I were going over it in when we were putting this together, and we looked at the real video, going, "Oh no, I can't show that. I can't show that in church. I just can't. I'm pretty progressive, but no." And I drive my son, or I did drive my son to work, to school every morning, and so I spent a lot of time listening to his music on the way to school. And so if you think it doesn't happen, most of the lyrics and the songs he played on the way to school, I couldn't begin to play at church. But this one I could, and it actually is one of the top 10 songs from last year.
I can't feel my face when I'm with you, but I love it, but I love it, oh, I can't feel my face when I'm with you,
To get better.
but I love it, but I love
right? The worst is yet to come. Unbelievable. This is just a random sampling of what's playing every day in our lives, on our radios, in our heads. They become the worms that infect us. And we wonder why then we're miserable. We wonder why then we have fever. We wonder why, right? That there are all these ailments, these body problems. We are constantly and consistently affirming the worst in life and in every situation through our music. And there's nothing more powerful than music. It's contagious. It is, like they say, when you sing, you pray twice. Well, we are singing some amazing lyrics, right? The worst is yet to come. Don't know why there's no sun up in the sky. It's miserable. So, I wanted us to, and I asked Alana to sing Time Heals Everything because I want to acknowledge the pull that has. Right? I'm not saying that we shouldn't feel our sadness. I'm not saying that we shouldn't feel our grief. Of course we should. But do we make an anthem out of it? Do we make ourselves victims of the situation? That is a gorgeous song, Time Heals Everything. But I have to say, except loving you. Right? In that play, that comes from, the character dies of a heroin overdose. Right? Ah. Yeah. Because when you're in that mindset that the worst is yet to come, that it's all bad, it's all stormy, that it's unfixable, you can't see the possibilities, the future that exists right on the other side. It's a horrible place to live, and many people live there not by choice, but by some psychological or mental condition. But for the vast majority of us, it just is something we can choose. To choose to have another thought, to sing another song, to repeat another lyric over and over in our lives, to awaken, just become aware of what it is that we're doing, what it is we're doing to our minds and our bodies. There's been a lot of talk here lately, and a lot of things have been crossing across my plate about healing, about life, about death. And so I wanted to talk to you today about spiritual healing, because I think it's important that we understand that it is not something that happens outside of us. Spiritual healing isn't something that comes down from heaven, or this God that exists somewhere outside of our body temple and bestows upon us something, but quite the opposite. Spiritual healing is what happens in our hearts and minds, happens inside of our body temple, and that lifts us up to something greater, something better. There's a story from Scripture, a story from the Gospel of John that I think illustrates this very well from our metaphysical perspective. It's from John 5. And Jesus went to the sheep gate, Bethesda. And in there lay all these people who were sick and infirm and blind, waiting for the waters of the pool to be disturbed. Because if they were the first into the pool, they would be healed. And Jesus walks in, and he sees this man there. And he knows that this man has been there a long time. Scripture tells us 38 years. 38 years waiting to be healed. 38 years waiting for his chance to get in the water. And Jesus walks up to this guy and says, "Hey, do you want to be healed?" And he lists this whole litany of reasons why he couldn't possibly get into the pool in time. Well, I had nobody here to help me, and every time I tried to get up, somebody else would sneak right in front of me and jump into the pool first, and so I never got healed. Right? And how many times do we all do that? Right? Whatever's going on in our lives. Oh, I couldn't do it because my boss. I couldn't do it because how my mom treated me when I was a kid. I couldn't do that. I can't get well because my doctor tells me I can't. Right? They say there's no cure for this. They say there's no hope in this. And Jesus looks at this guy, He just looks at him and says, get up and walk. Pick up your mat and walk away. So the guy, lame, unable to walk, stands up, rolls up his mat, and walks on. Now, in the scripture, this is taught as a miracle of Jesus, and even in the Bible, it actually says Jesus heals on the Sabbath. Immediately after it, the scribes and Pharisees come to attack him for healing on the Sabbath. You're not supposed to do work on the Sabbath, Jesus. But that's what the gospel writer had in mind. What's amazing to me about this story from a metaphysical perspective, from our perspective, right, is that Jesus, Christ, our higher selves, right, our higher consciousness, our higher thinking, walks up to ourselves and says, do you want to be healed? Do you want to be healed? Why? And in that moment, our higher selves meets all of our excuses, all of our can'ts, all of our embedded theology songs about how bad it is. And we can sing them on a moment's notice, can't we? We all know those songs. But the higher self looks with compassion and says, get up. Leave this place of misery. And the man gets up and walks away. That's the work of spiritual healing for each and every one of us. To realize that there is no outside person going to heal us. That there is no absolute can't recover. There is only our belief that it's incurable. Only our belief that the situation is intractable. And only our affirmation that it's so bad. And that we have to suffer. Misery is part of the deal. We can go through all the songs again if we want to refer to that. But we could also choose something else. We can choose to rise up to our higher self and do the work necessary to examine those beliefs and to love ourselves. You know, David talked earlier about our first core value, love. God is love. We consciously choose love in every situation. But God is not love up there in the heavens, dispensing love to you here on earth. God is the love you give. God is the love you receive. God is the very energy that you are exchanging as love. God is not a love that is somehow separate from you and distant from you. God is the love you are. God is the love you give away. And where are you withholding it? Are you withholding the love from yourself? Remember 2 weeks ago I talked about Evie McDonald, who cured herself of ALS by sitting naked in front of the mirror every day and loving herself. She sat there day after day, naked in front of the mirror until every negative thought that she had about herself and her body was washed away, and so was her disease. She was the first woman cured of ALS. First person on the planet ever cured of it. Look at our own story of our co-founders, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore. Myrtle had tuberculosis, and she loved herself. She apologized every day for 2 years to the parts of her body that she called weak and ineffective. She apologized to her lungs. She apologized to every cell and atom in her body. And she went through the physical process of releasing herself from the prison of sickness that she had bought. Charles Fillmore, amazed by his wife's transformation, applied the same principles to his shortened leg, his leg that was injured in childhood, and grew it 2 inches. As an adult man, grew his leg 2 inches longer. Countless other stories. I sit here as you walk in and tell me week after week, day after day, about these stories of your own personal transformation and healing. You all, each and every one of you, have the ability to heal and thrive. It is your divine nature. It is who you are. But you also have the ability to block it. You have the ability to believe that you're less than. The ability to believe that there's no cure and that it's all bad. You have the ability to love yourself or to deny yourself that love. The words we choose, the affirmations we say, and the songs we sing are the first step in changing whatever is going on in your life. And I know, trust me, I know it's not easy. Sometimes it's easier to tackle the big things, the big crises, right? Oh my God, I got this diagnosis. Oh my God, this happened in my family. Those things we rise to, we rally the troops, we get everybody in, we call the prayer line then. Well, this week, somehow, sleeping with my daughter or lifting her, I hurt my lower back. And I have been in pain all week. Now, I'm writing a talk on spiritual healing this week. You would think that I would have applied everything I was studying all week to my back. But no, somehow in my mind, that was just something separate. I was going to have to apply the icy hot patch. I was going to have to do this. I was going to have to do that. I would have to go to the chiropractor. And it wasn't until last night that I went, oh, I could actually do what I'm talking about for my back. And I sat down in meditation and blessed my lower back and saw it falling back into line and saw it healing. And I woke up this morning pain-free. I slept all last night and I woke up pain-free. Yeah, but duh. Right? It's like the things that are right in front of us sometimes are the hardest for us to see and hardest for us to apply. So I invite you to know the truth is that you are always able to do beyond what you think you can. There's a quote from a Sufi that says, abundance can be had by simply consciously receiving what has already been given. By simply opening my mind that I could heal my own body, that I could do it in prayer and in visualization and see myself healed, whole, and healthy. We can all do that in small and large ways. And we can testify to the truth that we are divinely made. You know, there's an old saying. I used to have it as a kid. Remember, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Well, I think that's really not true. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words actually can hurt you the worst. But words can also heal me. Words can also heal you. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words can always heal you. And sticks and stones may break your bones, but love can always heal you. Those are the words I'd like to leave you with. Love can always heal you. Love can always heal you. Let's take that to our time of meditation. Go ahead, cough it out.
Are you?
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful.
This tune, this Karen Drucker tune, I am so blessed, was the first song I heard when I went to Unity of New York. And we sang it week after week after week until I believed it. Until my life was starting to change. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. Meister Eckhart said, if the only prayer you ever said your whole life was thank you, it would suffice. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. Amen. So we take this moment to sit in the silence and to affirm our wholeness, to affirm our health, and to affirm our well-being. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. And I live from this place.
I am so blessed.